Hey, welcome back to the channel. Just thought I'd make a video today. I feel I'm getting more and more vindicated and proven right with each passing day. I've been calling since a long time, but if you go back through my videos, what did I say? I said March would be a turning point. I said that interest rates, when they said interest rates would peak, that no, they wouldn't peak. They would have to raise interest rates further than they thought, that the peak would be always pushed higher and higher. And, I said that the construction industry, the trades would be hit hard by these rate hikes. Now, we are going to have, construction come to a halt, I believe, and none of this is financial advice, just my opinion. If you want financial advice, go and pay for it. But we are going to have a lot of work because of the flood situation. That is true. There's going to be plenty of work for construction there. But as far as new builds go, I think it's going to be very, very hard to get work for new builds just because someone wants to build a new home. Because one, interest rates are they're just continually going up. They've gone up, I think it's 11 times since they started raising them. And, the price of materials keeps going up. The price of labor keeps going up. And it's getting harder to get a builder with some of the repair work and stuff going on. So, building a house would be quite a stressful headache at the moment. But this rate hike, it really shows that, Adrian Orr from the Reserve Bank of New Zealand, he at this point, he is more serious than I thought about hiking rates. I thought they might just give up, that it would be too hard to go down this track. But they seem quite adamant that they're going to bring inflation back to 2%. Which is going to take a long time. And really, it's not right. At least if they're going to have a 1 to 3% band and then they can't, maintain that, they should be trying to say, well, from the time we lost control, we now have to average that those years were 2%. So we have to have like 0% inflation or something for a few years to make up for the stuff ups that they did. Because this is a whole man-made disaster, this inflation crisis. So, things are going to get harder. The mortgages are delayed because they roll over. Some people are still paying low rates of interest, or they might have fixed it, say 4.5%, thinking, wow, it's so high, we fixed for 2 years, but suddenly they might be 8 months away from that rollover. So when we start getting more and more mortgages rolling over, it is inevitable that we are going to get defaults on these mortgages, and this is going to be a global phenomenon around the world. The defaults will come, and the layoffs will come because what the rate hikes are doing is basically making your mortgage so expensive that you start contracting your spending. You start looking at your income and saying, right, if we keep this house, the only way to do it is to not go to the movies, to not go to the restaurant, to not go to the amusement park, whatever it might be. Spending is scorched earth, and it'll happen. There's a number that everybody has where holding on to their house is tough. And if we see job losses because suddenly the restaurant goes out of business because nobody's coming in anymore, or they have to lay off staff to have a more skeleton crew because people aren't spending, and this is all going to happen, I believe, then suddenly job losses start getting factored in. So, we have people paying more interest than ever, and then someone loses, they go to a one-income household. This is disastrous. They won't be able to pay that mortgage, and they will lose their home. And when it happens, I believe it will happen in quite a big wave. and it'll be, I think, that situation unfolding around the world, around the globe at the same time, because we are having that delay of people coming off these low rate mortgages and rolling over onto these high rate mortgages. And, it will sort of be, there'll be a point where it will hit the wall. And, I don't think that these rates are high enough. Now, do I want high interest rates? No, not really. Not really, no. Because that is painful. But there's a lot of situations in life that suck. A lot of situations that they just suck. And, we never want to deal with any problem. But, all right, if you are a doctor and you look at a patient and you say they have this disease and the only cure is to give them, because this disease is worse than we thought, we've found it, but it's bad. And the only way that this patient can survive is to give it this really horrible medicine that is going to suck. But if we don't administer this medicine, there's not, it's lights out. Well, what the central banks do is they try and, we need to apply this medicine, but what we'll do is we want it to suck less than hopefully what it is. So what we'll do is we'll gradually increase the medicine until it's at the right dose. But the disease has gotten worse with those increments. Every time they increment their 0.5%, their 0.25, their 0.75, their 1%, whatever, the disease is always escalating because there is simply not enough medicine to beat the disease. And the only way to tackle this is to go hard out and say, well, that's our only option. That's the only way to fight it, that I see anyway. And of course, nobody. I don't want a recession. Nobody wants a recession. I don't want people to lose their homes. No one wants to lose their home. But if they're going to lose their home anyway, like the way I see it, if they had said, inflation is 4%, right, interest rates are going overnight to 8%, that would have been a real handbrake on the economy. Absolutely. But it also would mean maybe inflation had gone down to, say, 3%, and they could start easing that 8% maybe down. Or maybe they'd say, well, we've got to hold it there, but we don't need to go any higher. Maybe. But if we increment our way to 8% and get there anyway, there's just, 18 months between one and the other, but we get there anyway. And then they say, we've got to 8%, but now inflation is at 12% or 10% or 9%, so we're going to have to go even higher than 8%. Well, now you're worse off because inflation has gotten higher and now rates have to go higher, so you're hit twice as hard. But if you just dealt with it where it's like, okay, interest rates have gone up, but inflation didn't go over 4% or it went down to 3% or something like that and kept it there. At least if interest rates on your mortgage had gone up, at least your life, your cost of living hadn't gone up, even more. Because that's the thing. If your mortgage costs you $100 more a week to live, right? And, now it's $100 more. Okay, but if they don't raise interest rates, now your cost of living might go up $100 a week. It's the same thing. It's one or the other. Your money's got to go somewhere, whether it's on the bank mortgage or whether it's on the cost of living. It's still going out the door, right? If you can't pay your electricity bill, then your lights are cut out. If you can't pay your fuel bill, you can't get to work. There's a whole bunch of problems. Well, now, if inflation did go up that $100 and now they raise mortgage rates, and now your mortgage has gone up $100. Now you're even worse off. You're twice as bad. So they're better off to make, your mortgage more earlier. They've left this way too late. They acted too slow. They were talking transitory. They were talking it's going to peak at this and the OCR is going to peak at that. I think, personally, we're going to double-digit OCRs. That's what I think. I think for example, just this flood alone, how much damage has this flood actually caused? Like in inflation, because you've had all the crops wiped out, you've had all these houses and machinery's in demand, builders are in demand there, fences in demand, electricians, plumbers, concreters, roadworks, all these things are in demand. And, how much does that cost pressure there put on? Plus now the crops are wiped out in a lot of places, or the roads, so the roading's become more inefficient. Would you not think that something like that could cause quite easily a 2% inflation over and above what would normally be happening? So when they say we raise rates 0.5%, everyone's, ooh, 0.5%. Inflation's going to go up way more than that. It's going to go up heaps more just from the repair bill and the lack of roading and the crops being wiped out. It's going to go up, I would imagine, at least 2%, if not 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15. So how high are these rates going to have to go? If rates have to go to 12 or 13%, and you're thinking that it's a hawkish move to raise 0.5%, man, we ain't even getting started. So I don't think, and this is just my opinion, as I said, but personally, I don't think we're anywhere near a peak of anything. I think we're in for another, for a very protracted time of, and severe time of inflation, and which will lead to a recession, because there'll be no money. There'll be no money for anything because, either people lose their mortgage, lose their home, and then they're bankrupt. They lose their business and they're bankrupt. They lose their job and they've lost all their income, and then probably lose all the car and the house as well. I think we are going to be plunged into a severe recession that will be worse than the Great Depression. I really believe that. So this is serious, We can't just sit around and wait for, it all to magically go away, because the chances of that are slim to none, and Slim just died. So it's really now time to really think seriously about, how can you get through this? Because, if we plan these things, maybe we have a better chance of making it through. And I think that this isn't the peak. I don't think so. I think this is just when we start. It's the beginning of a cycle, of inflation. So anyway, I'll wrap this up. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please like and comment and subscribe. Really appreciate it. Peace.